We got ninjas, man.
SODO!
What is going on, Soda population? As always, I'm your host, Frozen Stratos, and today, yeah, we absolutely have our Ninjaman blog to get through, filled with a bunch of cool stuff, but before that, we actually have rider news to talk about, and there is plenty of it. This blog has so much to offer, so let's dive right on into it with all the Fize news. So, last week, we got shown all the Fize Chronicle 2 stuff, and today, we have a little bit of follow-up, because check it out! Yeah, that's right. We've got a brand new premium Bandai item here. There's no way this wasn't going to be a premium item. This is the Jet Slinger, and it's going to be... It actually is up for pre-order on premium Bandai right now, or you could probably go to Toku Collectibles, get it there, whichever one you want. And check it out. This is a fully featured... I don't want to say kit because it's definitely not a kit. This is mostly assembled, but check it out. There are some sticker detailings in the center console so that you could get a little bit more detail in there. Yeah, it looks really good. It turns out that this vehicle, there weren't too many examples of it. As far as I know, and as far as I guess the SODO team knows, there isn't really much in the way of like actual physical reference images, so they had to comb through the whole show and get some 3D model data and all that stuff to create this, and I think it is pretty effective, especially in terms of the size. This is 300 millimeters in length, which is pretty big. This is, what it looks like next to Delta, and it is pretty huge. And if you are on the Imperial system like I am, it's almost 12 inches. It's 11.81 inches. So that's pretty big, almost a foot long. That's more than I can say about Subway. Anyway, check this out. As compared to the rest of the bikes in this range, it is much bigger than those. And on top of that, they showed off this image a while ago, doing a size comparison with a water bottle. We can take that and we can reference back to this if you need, a bigger scale. This is not the same water bottle. I believe this is a liter-sized water bottle, so this is huge. And not just huge, it is... Oh, yeah, and here it is next to the candy. But it's not just huge. Here it is next to the what is it, Draglancer, I believe. It's Ryuki's final form bike. While it is similar in size, this bike comes in at, almost 200 grams. But this new bike almost comes in at 500 grams. So that's wild. You're going to be getting some bang for your buck out of this release, but that's not all. It's not just weight, it's not just heft, it's not just size. It is fully featured. You can fit your Delta in there. You can swivel around the tires to make it into its hover mode, but that's pretty standard. Like, that's stuff that you would expect it to do. Like, oh wow, it can swivel its wheels around. How weird. But that's not all that SODO was able to pack into this. And I don't know how else to introduce this. It's just an entire missile rack. They're giving you the full-on missile rack. Now, these don't like pull out of the bike itself. These are pieces that are swapped in, but man, does it add some bulk. So much so that it surpasses the 500 and goes all the way up to 607 grams. Oh my god, this is big. And yeah, you can use it with all the Fize figures you want. Imagine buying 2 of these. Like, who is this image for? Who's out here buying 2? I mean, if I had enough disposable income, yeah, I'd definitely do it. But, like, who's doing this? Who is this picture for? But hey, that's not all this set comes with, because if you remember from last week, we were talking about how Delta didn't have his accessory set, or his effect parts. Now, we get that in this set. So he has his Lucifer's hammer effect part, and also the delta symbol effect part. And I think these are very effective. Yeah, I like it. And just like with all the rest of the bike releases for Fize, we're getting the Delta gearbox. It is, you know, fully done up interior. I think it looks very good. And on top of that, he can hold it. Awesome stuff here. But Delta's not the only one that gets some support. We also have a dagger mode for Orga. You know, the one that came in the Chronicle set 2. That one is like stuck to the belt, like you can't draw it or anything. The only other weapon you're given is the full sword version, so it's nice to have this option here. And on top of that, we get Fize with the unloaded version of his Fize blaster. So that's really cool. I'm very happy that they gave us that inclusion. So overall, all this to say, this comes out, or at least the pre-orders are out now. This is set to come out in March of next year, and will run you, wait for it, 11,000 yen excluding tax. That's a pretty penny, not gonna lie, but you are getting a lot of bang for your buck, just like I said, and plenty of support for the figures that hopefully you're already getting. Now, I did want to mention the Autovigen. That comes out in January. Then the Side Basher comes out in February. And then, like I said earlier, the Jet Slinger comes out in March. So it is a bit of a staggered release. And throughout all of that, we are getting the actual figures through this. So all of this is to celebrate Fize's 20th anniversary. And I think, you know, very cool stuff here. I can't imagine what would be missing outside of villains. So we'll see how far they take this, but for now, I'm perfectly content with what we've been given out of this Fize line, excuse me. And it's just really cool. Anyways, I promised you ninjas. Let me give you a little bit of ninjas. So this isn't Ninjaman, but it is a man who is a ninja. This is Tycoon in you know, the ninja mode, and it looks very good. There's a lot of paint to this guy. All the silver here on the chest and the mouth plate, that's all painted details. However, it seems like a lot of the green on here, those are going to be stickers. I'm not quite sure how that's going to fare, but they seem to mostly be on flat surfaces, so I do at least appreciate that. Also, here's a look at the arms. Like I said, a lot of the arms are done up in sticker, but you see the shoulder pad and the ninja star, the throwing star itself, that's actually going to be done up in paint. It's also its own separate part, that separate shuriken. They were talking about how typically, you know, parts like this, if you mold it all into one thing, all into the forearm, it gets a bit distorted. But since they made it its own separate piece, they were able to put a lot of extra detail in there. You get the gear underneath, and I think that's very cool. Here's a look at the belt. It looks, you know, very nice, very accurate. And a look at the back. You know, a lot of the details are carrying over back here. The only notable one that I don't see is that mesh pattern. It is molded in if you wanted to paint it, but you aren't going to get stickers or anything to detail that out. It sucks, but you know what? They detailed as much as they could back here. They even got some of the wrapping around, so I do appreciate that. Next, let's revolve on. We get the pants! Check it out, it's the pants. So, technically, this doesn't exist yet. And I know people are probably going to get at me in the comments saying like, oh yeah, but we see the pants already. We saw it on Geats before. But no, we haven't seen it on Tycoon yet. And these have his extra little green strap on it. So they wanted to get ahead of the game and make this before, you know, it showed up in the show. They figured it's going to happen eventually, right? Like, he's going to do this, so might as well just make it now. And in this set, he's going to be coming with his Ninja Dueler, and it looks pretty good. It's also stickered up here on the back side. Like I said, they've been including a lot of these stickers recently. Also, it has those relief holes back there, which potentially could be used as mounting ports. So hopefully that means that this can be mounted to the belt. If not, that would suck, but they have shown us that they were doing that with the Geats figure, so maybe these are going to be able to mount on his side. Hopefully we'll get a separated version in the future. Anyways, they also wanted to take a look at the legs. There's tons of paint. Like, if you were wondering where all the paint was on the other figure, it's right here on the legs. There's tons of lime green on the knees, the shins, all that stuff. And taking a closer look, the thighs are actually two separate molds because of how they reconfigure into the chest and how all those gears work out. So it's asymmetric. That's cool. On top of that, here's the back of it. Not so much detail, or not so many details back here, but what do you do? What are you going to do? There's some poses that he can get into. Very good stuff here. And Geats can get in on the fun, obviously. You are able to just put his core ID sticker right in the front of the belt, so, you know, make this as accurate as possible. You can sort of create ninja boost, but you aren't going to have the belt piece, the correct belt piece for it. If you notice here, the boost is missing on the belt piece, and, you know, they just probably haven't made that yet. Same goes for this zombie ninja. Yeah, they just haven't made a mold for that yet. Hopefully sometime in the future we'll be getting some stickers and some molded detail for a lot of these. Anyway, that's it for this guy, but they did want to mention that the eye stickers are no different than the Magnum eye stickers, and that is accurate to the show. So they had explained it in the blog and said, if you look at the show, and if you look at Geats Magnum versus, I think, Buffa Zombie, they have two separate... They have what looks like two different colors of eyes, but it's really just the lighting of each of the scenes and the fact that Geats has recessed eyes with red trim around it, and then, what's his name? Buffa has... more pronounced eyes with purple around it, so it creates this weird effect that gives them different colors. They said if you go over to the site and actually, you know, do that little simulator that lets you play with the belt online, it will show you the form in its most accurate state, and those eyes are supposed to be the same color. So, that said, that means the Magnum eyes on Tycoon and on Geats will technically work with your zombie form. I really hope that made sense. I had to figure that out in my head, but I think I got it down now. These eyes, base level, are just compatible with Geats Magnum, or with the Magnum form and the zombie form. That's what these eyes are for. And this came in ID1. So if you collected ID1, you already have this, you're ahead of the game. Anyways, speaking of Magnum, check this out. We're actually getting support for the Magnum portion of this figure, or of these figures, because it turns out we're going to be including the Magnum Shooter 40X. It's going to be in the handgun mode. You know, people were getting a little restless about, oh, why did they do this yet? It's here. It's fine. You're fine. It'll be fine. But yeah, it looks pretty good. It has a bit of that truncated look that I do like. But I do believe that is it. Here are all the figure possibilities that we are getting in SODO Geats ID2. I say possibilities because I have some unfortunate updates about some of these figures. So, we see here they've finally, shown us everything we're getting in the set. Everything separated, like chest and like lower legs, and then all the rest of the stuff in another set. We also get to see that we get tons of sticker support for the eyes if we ever wanted to switch them out for something else. That's really good stuff. And then we get to this image. Now we have Tycoon Ninja here at the top, but below it is Nago, and unfortunately Mary is actually just going to be a headpiece. He's not a separate figure. We're not getting a separate figure for him, so we're really just going to have to pick up a separate body in order to make that, which really sucks. It would have been great information for them to lead with, and, you know, they made a whole deal about it earlier, a whole big deal about this figure earlier, and I thought, oh, he's his own separate figure. No, he's not. He is not his own separate figure. Sadly, he is just ahead, and sadly, I also have to report that Gimpen is just ahead as well. That really sucks. But hey, we're getting Buffa and Buffa Zombie. Cool stuff there. Hopefully we can finagle a you know, different piece or something out of there. I don't know yet. But yeah, that just leaves these two in the dust. If you want to get separate bodies or something in order to supplement these guys, hopefully there will be enough bodies, enough like base bodies for between ID2 and ID1 that hopefully you can make these guys. I'm gonna try to track down some extra bodies to make this happen. If you take a look at Buffa, really the only difference between his mold is that he has a waist cape, and that waist cape is removable. So perhaps if you pick up an extra one, I don't know. Yeah, it's really up in the air right now for me. I'm gonna try my best to get some out of these, but who knows? We'll see. That sucks for these two. I really wish they would have been more upfront about that before. The last thing to note about the inclusions of these guys is that Mary does come with a cracked ID core, so you can have that sticker if you want. Anyways, that is it for this week in terms of Geats. Next week we will be adding a third member to this very good collection of bears. Anyways, before we end our Kamen Rider coverage, they just wanted to let us know that SODO Chronicle Kabuto is either out or close to being out, and we've got some really cool stuff here. The Hopper Hell Brothers, we've got Dark Kabuto, who has Tampo printing on the chest, so none of that is sticker on the chest. And then we have, you know, Kabuto in his, you know, in his final form with the perfect Zector in multiple different forms, and Gattack or Hyper Gattack with the Hyper Cast Off mode if you would like. So tons of cool stuff here. That said, let's now move on. Oh wait, I almost forgot. This is over. The polling vote stuff for the re-release sets and the homework sets is over, so hopefully next week we will be learning who won and what we will be getting and more information about what this set has to offer. Anyways, that's it. That is it for Kamen Rider. Let's finally get to Ninjaman. And there's some decent stuff to talk about this guy. And I honestly had no idea that this guy, some people don't even consider him a ranger for some reason, but I certainly do. He's ranger adjacent enough, and since this is, you know, a very non-standard looking figure, they had to make a brand new mold for him, and on top of that, they wanted to make sure he had all the extra articulation that Shodo Super has been known to offer, so you can even get him in this laying down pose. It looks very good, and they were able to maintain all the proportions in here. Very cool stuff. And you can get him in this very boisterous pose. They also made mention that there are going to be no stickers on this figure, so it is a completely stickerless build for him. Also, the original toy had silver on the arms, but considering this does not transform into, you know, his mecha mode, that means they didn't need to have the shoulders be silver, and they could actually make it more accurate in black. So that's very cool. It has a wide array of hands and sword options. So here we have the, I guess, clasped together ninja pose, and then the sword sheathed in the scabbard. Then we have the sword coming out of the scabbard, and also, you know, some other ninja poses with the fingers. And then a sword on its own with the scabbard in the back separately. So plenty of posing options if you want it in various states of sword holding. You can also get him posed like he's trying to get out of that little jar. Speaking of which, there is a little jar. You can take this little jar, give the hammer to her or anyone you'd like, and you can recreate him being summoned out of that. Here's basically everything you're getting, all the stuff that I was talking about earlier about the, the sheath and all that. It appears the sword is the thing that changes, and you get a consistent sheath throughout, so that's very helpful and very cost-effective, right? Because you get basically 3 other options and then 1 scabbard piece. I think that's very good. So, and none of these so far that I've seen, no stickers. Not on the figure, not on here either. Good stuff. You can pair him with the rest of the team. That looks very good. Or if you get the Go-Kaijers involved, you can have him join his secondary team of the Go-Kaijers. I think that's very great. Also, to note, this figure is going up, is already up on Premium Bandai. Probably already, oh yeah, definitely up on Tokulectables because I definitely retweeted that. It is running you 2,500 yen or 2,750 yen with tax. Not quite sure what it is on Tokulectables, but I'm sure there's a decent upcharge on there. This is going to come out in March of 2023. But hey, I do believe that that is it for this week. Thankfully, everything fit into one neat little episode. So thank you so much for watching. If you like the episode, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week. And if you have not yet had your fill, it turns out we had some Yudo stuff happen last week, and there's a video right for it right here. So check that out if you would like to. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it juicy. I don't have my progress key with me. Every other time I'm missing it. That sucks. Oh, I'll talk to you guys next time.